Hey guys, what's up? I'm Albert Green, and this is a Music Talk podcast. Today we're joined by Ariel Rose. She's from Miami, Florida, and yeah, introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Albert, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
So, I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I just released my new song, Somebody Loves You, on Friday. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I actually partnered with the United Way of Miami-Dade, and I'm raising funds for their Miami Pandemic Response Fund to affect for people that have been affected by the COVID-19 virus. So, any amount that you guys feel like donating would be so much appreciated and would help support a really great cause and a lot of people that are in need right now.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna include a link in the bio of this episode. So make sure to donate. And yeah, so tell us, what's your background with music?
Well, I come from a really musical family. My dad is a classically trained pianist. He's actually featured in my music video for the song "Somebody Loves You," so you could check that out.
That's
But
awesome.
my grandfathers were both musicians, and my great grandfather was a composer of Ukrainian polka music. It's called. So I know it's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of
He
different. Never heard of that.
he had his own like orchestra, and so it's just cool to be able to keep the family tradition alive, I guess. My dad would play the piano growing up my entire life, and I would just grab my pillow and sleep under the piano listening to him playing, and then I would dance around the piano. So he really inspired me and was a big influence in my life.
So who are some other influences that are in the industry right now?
Well, when I actually released my first CD, I was 15, and I had the amazing opportunity to work with the Latin Grammy nominated producer Juan Vicente Zambrano. And he's really been a mentor to me and has taught me a lot about the industry. My voice coach is an amazing person. He has been my coach since I was 12 years old, and he actually doesn't speak any English. It's
That's weird.
interesting.
That's a little different. But
I
yeah, proceed.
know, because I don't speak any Spanish, but I sing in Spanish actually. And my first CD was half in Spanish, half in English. So yeah, he showed me this book called The Secret, and I'm a firm believer now in the law of attraction. And I guess I just take different things from different people that I meet, and I've been really lucky in the sense of having amazing people around me and a very supportive family.
So when did you start singing in Spanish?
Well, in Spanish. Okay, well, I've been singing in Spanish, I want to say since my voice coach. I was 12 and he showed me a song in Spanish and he said, "You can do this," in Spanish. And I thought he was kind of crazy, but I've always loved Latin music. Actually, my first concert was Ricky Martin when I was 6 years old. My parents took me and surprised me for my kindergarten graduation. And I've always loved Latin music. So I think I've always kind of had an ear for it, just being born and raised in Miami. And my voice coach said, "Learn this song," and I did. And he told me my pronunciation was good, and I really did. So I kind of continued from there.
That's awesome. So what Latin artists are you following right now?
Well, obviously, Shakira has always been a huge influence in my life. She's a staple, like legend in the Latin music world. I love her stuff. I love Maluma. I love CMCO, Sebastian Yatra. I've always loved Fannie Lou. She's a Colombian singer. She's really cool. So yeah, I mean, a lot of different kinds of stuff that I enjoy.
Are there any other languages that you want to go ahead and sing?
Well, actually, I went to University of Miami's Frost School of Music and I studied opera.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I
that's a
can
whole
sing in
different game.
German, Italian, whatever you name it.
Yeah. So what are some things that you love about just doing music generally?
Well, one of my favorite things about at least singing is being able to connect with other people. Even through my recorded music, I love um being able to bond with other people. I hope that through my music and through my performances, I make people's day a little bit better, or I make them feel something. So I remember I was doing a performance one time, and there was actually like there weren't that many people there. It was when I first started out. It was a restaurant that I was singing at, and there was no one there. This one person was at the bar, and she said to me, "You know, I'm going through a lot right now, and what you did tonight really made my day." And it really put a smile on my face. And when she said that, I realized that this is so much bigger. You know, what I do is
Yeah.
so much bigger, and there's a bigger purpose to it. And as long as I can connect with other people, it makes it all worth it.
So, how does that feel to you as the artist or the singer?
Oh, it feels amazing. I I've always been very connected to music, and it's a big part of my life. I feel like a life without music is just very dull. I can't even imagine
Yeah.
it, honestly. And yeah, being able to make people's day and just entertain them and make them forget about their troubles or whatever they're going through just for a moment makes it all worth it.
So another big thing that you said, as a start, well, for most artists that are starting off, they're obviously not going to get the crowds that they want or anticipate. But How did that feel for you, and how did you overcome that feeling of like not regret, but I don't know, but you know the feeling I'm talking about when like you
Yeah.
have like a big show and not many people show up. How do you feel? How do you deal
Well,
with that?
I actually have a funny story about that. When I released my first CD, um, I we had this big like CD release party, and I just thought no one was going to show up. I we were promoting it, and I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, like this is a really big club that we have to fill, and there's a lot of room in here. What's going to happen when there's only like a few people and it looks empty?" So I was backstage, and I remember just I asked him a friend that was there with me. I said, "Is there anybody there?" And he kind of looked. He's like, "This place is packed," and I
No
honestly I
way. That's
couldn't believe
awesome.
it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but I mean, there are always going to be performances that are more packed than others. It just depends on the weekend. It depends on where it is, what it's for. But yeah, I mean, whether there's one person in the room or 10,000, it's just about connecting with those people.
Yeah, I get that. But it obviously like it feels like you get down to a point where it's like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this or maybe I'm doing something wrong. How did you overcome that feeling?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rejection in this industry. There are a lot of it's not a straight path. It's a difficult road. There's a lot to overcome. There's going to be rejection. I actually remember I had auditioned to be on this Spanish singing TV show, and the producers contacted me to be on the show, and I thought, wow, okay, cool. I told them I don't speak Spanish even though I sing in Spanish, and they were cool with it. So I went to the whole audition process. I went through the whole thing, and finally I got to the finals, and they told me, they were like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. And
Oh
I
my
was
god.
I
You're
was like,
probably
and
so
I knew it was
defeated.
because I didn't speak Spanish, and I thought, "Oh, man, like, I just went through this whole thing. I wouldn't have even gone through it if you didn't contact me," because I didn't really know about it. And, there's always gonna be, obstacles when you don't fit the costume. I did a lot of musical theater growing up, and sometimes if you don't fit the costume, you just don't get the part.
Yeah.
So I also remember, I actually went on a tour for Cirque Dreams. I was the lead vocalist in one of their productions. Cirque du Soleil owns them now. And
Oh wow, that's cool.
yeah, it was really fun. But this young girl, she asked in the audience, she asked me, "So what do you do when you're not feeling well?" And everyone in the cast looked at each other, and we just thought, "What do you mean? Like, you gotta still go on. The show must go on, even if you're having a bad day, even if you're feeling sick, if something crazy happens, your grandma dies or something horrible, you still have to go on stage and perform and do what you're there to do, to entertain
Yeah.
people."
So that recently happened to me with something else. So I'm an EMT student. I just finished my course. So I was on an
Oh,
ambulance and
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was on the ambulance, and we had this very, very depressing call, which kind of put me back, like, got me a little
Third.
miscombobulated. Yeah, I know we were speaking earlier. I think it was yesterday. I was trying to switch the date with you, but I was just so confused at that point. It just put me in this like state of like, I guess shock, you could say. But
Yeah.
I feel like like you experience that in every industry, and especially the music industry, where it's so like, I guess not clean cut, you could say.
hmm
But what are some ways that you navigate yourself through that?
Well, first of all, I surround myself with a really amazing support system. I have a great team of people that work with me that are always there for me when things happen. They don't sugarcoat anything. They kind of just tell you like it is, which I think is really important. But one of my favorite quotes of all time, and I guess if I could give any advice to anybody, it would be this: is every no is one step closer to a yes. And it's a quote that I've lived by my whole life. So every time you hear a no, don't think about it as this horrible thing that you're going through or this horrible rejection. Think about it as no, the next time I'm gonna hear a yes. I gotta keep going and I gotta keep doing what I love and putting my art out there and impacting the world, impacting people. Because ultimately you will hear that yes. You just have to stick with it and keep going.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot from many artists, and DJs. Like,
Mhm.
if you had like one of the Castra, I don't know if you saw the episode with Castra, but he said if you haven't heard no a million times before you hear a yes, you're doing something wrong. You know,
Yes,
even
it's
though
true.
yes may be a positive no, positive thing, but like you got to hear those no's because otherwise you're not going to really build yourself to become a better person or a better singer in your case.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's been a successful person who hasn't heard the word no.
Yeah, I mean because you gotta be put down before you bring yourself up, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's switch it up a bit. Tell us about your new single that just came out.
Well, as you just said, you were going through a difficult time recently. And I think, I wrote this song when I was also going through a difficult time. I was feeling really overwhelmed with everything. And I just thought in that moment, what is the one thing that someone could say to me right now that'll make me feel better? And I thought, someone loves me, someone cares. I think that telling people you love them can go a long way. It might sound cliche, but when people are going through a difficult time, they really need to hear that. They need to hear that people are there for them, that people care about them. And that's really the inspiration for the song. I know that this has been a difficult time with the pandemic. People have been isolated, they've been alone, and just being able to hopefully lift people up and make them feel a little less alone during this time is really important to me.
Yeah, and do you express yourself typically through all your music, or is that just like a spontaneous thing that you're doing now?
No, I mean, everything I do it for a purpose, a way of expressing myself. I actually, before this, I released a salsa version of an Adele song, Send My Love, which I wrote. Well, I didn't write it. I did the arrangement to,
Yeah,
uplift people. It's a really fun, colorful take on the song. And I thought, doing something to uplift people and just happy dance song would be kind of fun.
yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
tell us more about the song itself, what it means to you.
Well, the song is very personal. Um, you know, I was feeling that exact way when I wrote it. Like I was going under, like I couldn't handle anything. Like, I there was no escaping my feelings at the time. It's a very personal song, and the music video also is really personal because you'll see it features like little clips of me growing up and singing. I started off singing like the national anthem and a bunch of patriotic songs. So you'll see a little bit of that in there and just little personal clips of me with my dad and my family just growing up. So the song is really meaningful to me, and I'm really happy to be sharing it with you all.
So what's the music making process for you? I mean, from like you get down, you get the lyrics down, and then what do you do after that?
So I'm with every song, it's kinda different. It just kind of depends. Sometimes the lyrics, I have them written first, or I have an idea that I go off of, and then I hear a song or I hear a beat that I'm working with a producer or something I hear, something I like, and we kinda go off that idea. So, sometimes the music's written first, sometimes the lyrics are written first. It all just depends on, that particular song, and everything's different.
So, who are some artists that you worked with? Producers, at least.
Well, I've worked with for my first CD, I worked with Juan Vicente Zambrano, who's amazing. He's worked with an amazing, incredible array of artists, like Ricky Martin, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, he's done really cool things. And I've worked with Jorge Luis Piloto, who's another Latin Grammy winning producer. He's
I see you've been practicing that accent.
my accent. I'm trying.
Oh my god, that's great.
Estoy aprendiendo. Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I love the language. But yeah, I mean, one amazing producer, Juan Francisco Parra, he's the one that produced my last single. I have a lot of new stuff coming out soon that I've been working on with other people, and I'm excited to share that with you guys too.
That's awesome. So, would you say these resources really like helped you, I guess, bring yourself up in the industry, or was it solely done by yourself?
I mean, nothing's gonna be handed to you on a silver platter. I mean, you have to kinda you have to work for it, and it's not an easy process. But definitely once you get to certain people, they know people who know people, and it kinda has a domino effect from there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that the resources definitely help. Also, having a supportive family helps. A lot of people aren't that lucky in that regard. Um, and yeah, just having very supportive, positive people to surround myself with is really important.
So, is there anything that you had wished you had known before you got into the industry, or do you think you did it
Huh.
perfect? You know?
I mean, there are always things that I wish I knew beforehand. it's it's an ever-changing industry. The industry is constantly evolving. I mean, when I first released, like I say, I released my first CD. CDs don't even they're not a thing
Yeah.
anymore. I sound ancient when I say that.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm 26.
You're not
Yeah.
that old. Come on.
I'm not that old, gee, thanks. How old are you?
18?
18? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're a baby. You make me feel like I'm so old.
You're only 8 years older.
Still.
All right.
Yeah, but, it's a constantly changing industry, and you just have to learn how to adapt. It's a constant process of learning. It's important to know how to be your own boss and know how to do everything really on your own. Know how to record your own videos, know how to record yourself singing or playing your instrument, know how to develop your brand. It hasn't been an easy process for me learning all this stuff, but
Yeah.
no one's going to do it for you. And it's important to also know the business end now
So,
because,
so what are some like what's some key advice that you'd give people who are wanting to enter the music industry?
well, be your own boss, have your own plan for everything. Um, know how to do everything. Teach yourself how to do everything. No one is going to help you. No one really helped me too much. I kind of am doing it on my own. I'm still navigating the industry. I'm still figuring it out. Um, always have a plan and make sure to share that plan with your team and the people you're working with. Have a vision for what you're doing. If you don't have a vision, it's really hard for other people to understand what you're trying to convey. Um,
Yeah.
and also, yeah, just prepare for rejection. Have a thick skin. It's not going to be easy along the way. And just know that and just keep going because you love it. Remember why you love what you do and why you're doing it.
So, what do you think is like the most common reason for people giving up?
It's a very demanding industry. I will give you that. Some people have it easier than others. Um, also a very judgmental industry. As an artist and as musicians, as artists, we put ourselves out there. We're very vulnerable to criticism. We're vulnerable to people saying their opinions of what they think it should be, how they think you should dress, how they think you should act. I know that for me, everyone kept telling me growing up that I'm not edgy enough, I'm not like hipster enough, I'm not cool enough. I'm too much like the Disney princess. And it took me it took me a while to just accept that. You know what? You think I'm a Disney princess? Take it. I'm a Disney princess. I'm girly. I'm a Disney princess. If it's you just have to be yourself, be true to yourself, because if you try to do something different, it's not going to come off genuine.
Yeah. So how do you deal with the negativity?
Um, I try not to think about it too much.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction and just, surrounding yourself with positive thoughts, positive energy. I don't pay too much attention to it. For the most part, people are really supportive of what I do. I'm really lucky. I, like I said, surround myself with really supportive people and just, there's when you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people that love it and there's going to be people that hate it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so we got a general opinion of yours regarding the industry. So what would be like one thing or a couple things that you would change within the industry?
Um, wow. I think that the industry has actually changed for the better. Um, there was a time where independent artists weren't really heard. They had to go through major labels, and we're really lucky now. And the fact that we can just put ourselves out there on the internet and release music the way we want to do it and um, have control over our own image and control over our own sound and what we want to put out. Um, I think that obviously through the release of streaming services, artists aren't paid and songwriters aren't paid as much for, their music like they used to be. I kind of liked having a physical tangible product. Like a CD was kind of cool cuz I
Yeah.
would, look at the lyric book that it came in and all these pictures that were, exclusive to that CD. So I think that just having like a tangible product would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I feel like having like a record is like cool also,
Yeah, like a
Being able to play
record.
it on a vinyl player is like awesome.
Yeah, I think people don't always see the value in music now because you can just stream as many songs as you want for a
Yeah.
set fee, which is amazing. It's incredible. There's music everywhere now, but yeah, having the tangible product, I think you value it a little bit more.
The thing that sucks most about it is like I mean, it doesn't mean anything to anyone else besides for you the artist.
Right.
So that's really it kind of like it kind of hits you differently like I created this thing that I worked on for several months and now all you're doing is clicking it on your phone and listening to it and it's like
Right, right.
yeah, kind
So
of
you
like
get it.
yeah, I totally get it. Um so how do you think the internet impacted the music industry?
Oh, wow. It changed the industry. It changed it completely. I mean, people are using the internet
In a
as
good way or a
well,
bad way?
what?
In a good way or a bad way?
Both. Both. But I think in a good way because people are able to communicate now with I can sit in my bedroom and communicate with people in their bedroom now or all over the world. It's really an incredible thing. People use the computer as instruments now. I mean, that's the
That's
thing.
what I do.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think it's absolutely amazing, and I don't even know what the future holds for music. I mean, what the next big invention is
Yeah,
going
it's
to
like
be.
crazy to think of like the future. I was thinking
Yeah.
like another episode I was discussing like how how people dealt with the pandemic back in the where when was the last pandemic? Do you know?
1918 or 1970. Yeah, it was
Okay, so like whenever
crazy.
like that was, I just wonder how they dealt with that. Because so
Yeah,
many
how did
things.
they get that information out fast
Yeah,
enough?
it's like everything's just evolved to this point where like you don't mind sitting home. We can work from home. We could do anything from home.
Right.
So it's like mind-boggling as to like if I were there and then at that time, like I'd probably be going nuts by now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think that like my grandmothers didn't they grew up in a world without the internet. Like it's just weird to think.
Probably be an awesome time then. I mean, there's a lot of negativity on the internet, but it also benefits people in positive ways, like for fundraising and stuff like that. Like I was
Absolutely.
just approached by the American Cancer Society to do like a DJ party on like online,
Oh,
which
that's cool.
yeah, I feel like that's like the good part about this the internet overall, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So are you doing anything on your end to help give back
Well, I
besides
actually
for the single? Sorry.
yeah. Well, I recently hosted an Instagram live on Friday, a concert to raise funds and awareness for the United Way. So that was my, way of hosting a little fundraiser to give
Yeah.
back. That live performances aren't really happening that much right now. So it's my way of still being able to perform and showcase my craft.
So tell us more about the organization.
Well, the United Way has been a force in this community in Miami for over 95 years. And in direct response to the COVID-19 pandemic, they set up their Miami Pandemic Response Fund to help vulnerable families, people that have been affected by COVID-19. And they're giving food to people who need it. They're helping people with their rent and mortgage payments. They're giving micro grants to small businesses so they can stay afloat and stay open, not go under. What they're doing is really necessary in the community, and it's really a pleasure to be able to raise money for them.
All right, so let's veer off a little. So
Let's
what
do
does
it.
a typical day in your life look like?
I wake up and I usually eat and then I do research on the internet about, marketing or about whatever I'm doing in that moment, making a video or whatever. I work on a project. I usually do some, I actually just recently got into yoga. I do some sort of workout. I love working
One
out.
of my cousins is like insanely obsessed with yoga. Like he'll do it for 6 hours a day, and I'm so serious. Even yeah,
What?
while he's working. So that's
That's
crazy.
actually amazing.
Yeah,
It's
he's
hard.
insane.
Yoga's really, it takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, I mean he lost a ton of weight doing yoga and working out, of course, but
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, I mean, yoga is an amazing exercise, and I didn't really see the value in it at first because I was always a we gotta run and sweat cardio kind of person lifting weights. And when I started getting in it, I realized this is really necessary and it's really wonderful. So I just got my yoga mat. Of course, it's pink because I'm really
girly
girly.
girl.
Yeah. But yeah, I do yoga and I do my vocal exercise warm-ups. It's not, always easy to stick with that, but I do maintain that, especially since I'm not doing a lot of live performances right now with this pandemic. Um, it's important to practice as much as possible. And then I'll, usually just do whatever I have to do as far as like interviews for the day or talking to my team about different things. And then I'll write poetry, lyrics, all different things, gather ideas, and just kind of get my creativity out. I love to paint and I'm a pretty creative person. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So, what are a couple of things or a few things that you can't live without in a day?
Chocolate.
I'd have to agree with you on that.
I love chocolate. Yeah, it's really bad.
No, it's not.
But
It's pretty good.
yeah. Yeah, I just don't have too much, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't want to spoil your dinner.
exactly. Yeah, chocolate, music. I love music. I'm always listening to it. I can't live without that, and just creatively expressing myself in some way. Um, Talking to my family. I'm always, I wanna stay close with them. I'm very close with them, and I'm always kinda keeping them in the loop of what's going on.
Yeah,
So I those are the 3 things.
that's awesome. So what's the ultimate direction for your music?
So I wanna write music and convey music that's very transparent and, um, really conveys the part of who I am to other people. So whatever I do, I wanna make sure it's truthful to who I am as an artist, as a person. Um, when I write, I use a blend of stuff. I take influences from different things. I I did a lot of theater growing up, and then I'm classically trained, and, I love Latin music, I love pop music. There's so many different kinds of music that I take influence from. So, with everything I do, I try to just incorporate all of that.
So, who are some pop artists that you would love to like collaborate with?
Oh my gosh, I really love Ariana Grande.
She's a
I
queen
think
of pop,
she
straight up.
is. Her voice is amazing. I would love to work with Maluma. Maluma's awesome. I really like his stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, I there are a lot of people I'd wanna work with. I love J.Lo. I love Gloria Estefan. She's like a legend here in Miami, like, with conga and everything. I actually saw her live twice and amazing. And I saw her Broadway show, On Your Feet, that she did with her husband, Emilio Estefan. It
That's
was so
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
I love to see when like musical artists like stray to a different path.
Mhm.
Only because like music in itself, like you can express yourself in so many different ways. But I feel like when you create like a Broadway show or a show in general, you really get to create your thought rather put it into an audio file. You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's an art to live performance too, just being on stage and just, conveying that energy to the audience. There's, art to all the different aspects of the industry.
Yeah. So have you wanted to get more into the show aspect of things, or is that not really in your realm?
Like the musical theater kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
that kind of Oh, yeah, I love that stuff. I would never turn it down. I enjoy it a lot. I when I was on tour with Cirque, it was an amazing experience, and I got to perform in some of the country's most amazing theaters, and I performed at the Fox Theater in Detroit, which is a very historical, gorgeous theater, and a lot of people don't know this, but when you finish a performance in a lot of these older theaters, you sign the wall backstage. So I was able to see, like, Frank Sinatra
Wow. Some
and
big names like
Natalie
that.
Cole and Gladys Knight, amazing BB King, like, all these amazing artists were on the same stage that I was on, and it was an incredible feeling.
So let's say you got into a big show, a big musical show, and you're creating music to a bunch of fans. Would you say that's success, or do you have another definition of success?
Well, it's funny you say that. I knew Shakira's older manager from when she first started, and he had told me that all she wanted her whole life was to win a Grammy. And as soon as she won her first Grammy, she wanted a second Grammy. So I think that success changes. Your idea of success changes as you go through life and you accomplish and do different things. I know that for me, like there's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot I've done, but there's a lot more that I want to accomplish, and there are a lot more places I want to be. But I think just as long as you're happy and you're doing what you love, that's the ultimate definition of success for me.
Yeah. So would you say you're working towards a goal, or you're just as long as you're happy and making a living, like
Um, yeah, I would say I'm working towards a goal for sure. I think that a lot of people have dreams, but it's important to make that a goal because having a dream, it seems kind of unrealistic and so far away. But
yeah.
once you write it out on paper and you kind of go through the steps of what it takes to get there, it becomes a goal.
So
And I do that
sorry,
a
continue.
lot. No, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, what I do, like, when I want to get somewhere, I want something, I write a list and I write everything out of how exactly I'm gonna get there. And even if it doesn't go exactly as planned, at least I have kind of a guideline and an outline of how I'm going to do this.
So have you had any like moments within your career where you were like, this is gonna help me blow up. This is what is gonna get me to the peak of my goal. Have you had any experiences like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with everything, like, you just want, when you put yourself out there, you're hoping for the best response from people, and, definitely when I released my first CD, there was um, a lot of excitement around that, and it was really cool, um, but I realized that it's really a matter of just growing and you don't really blow up overnight. There's no overnight successes.
Yeah.
Even I think they're overnight successes. It took years and a lot of perseverance and hard work. You just got to keep going.
All right, so we're getting towards the end, but I have a few more questions. So, what is some advice that you've been given, or some advice that you give, that really helped you throughout your career?
Well, for sure, definitely every no is one step closer to a yes, for sure. That is like my go-to advice. But just be true to yourself because I learned along the way that that's one of the most important things. Be who you are and don't be ashamed of who you are. Um, people will try to change you, people will tell you what you should be, tell you how things should be, and just staying true to yourself.
All right, so what's next for you within the industry?
Just I'm constantly writing and I have new stuff that I'm really excited to share with you all. Yeah, so I'm writing a lot and um, thinking of new ways of expressing myself, and I'm really excited to put it out there and start another chapter.
That's awesome. So, last but most definitely not least, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at I am Ariel Rose. You can find me on Facebook, on YouTube. I am Ariel Rose Music, Spotify, Apple Music. Check me out.
That's awesome. So yeah, thank you for coming on, and it was really a pleasure speaking with you. Make sure to follow her, and yeah, you got anything else you want to say?
Donate to the United Way.
Alrighty, guys. This is a Music Talk podcast with Ariel Rose. I hope you enjoyed.